Stream has started.
Oh, yeah. I am refreshing your Twitch. There it is.
All right.
Hello, everyone.
Greetings.
We're here.
Welcome to the Opus Magnum 2025 Weeklies, Week 8, BoozeSort by a puzzle by Mr. Puzzle.
The puzzle by Mr. Puzzle. The person with the puzzle in his name. He made the puzzle. Would you like to introduce your puzzle, Mr. Puzzle?
Sure. So, BoozeSort is a computation puzzle where you take this alcohol-shaped input, this 4-atom input. Each atom can be water or salt or fire individually. And the goal is to sort the atoms into a 4-atom stick so that all of the fire is on the left and all of the water is on the right and all of the salt is in the middle. Fun fact, that's alphabetical order. But also
is that coincidence? Is that a coincidence, or did you intend it to be in alphabetical order?
That's a coincidence. I chose that order because fire points up and water points down. So it's like up, middle, down.
But also, there was one very unusual feature in this puzzle, which for a computational puzzle, usually dropping any molecule of this shape but is incorrect output is not allowed. This puzzle, you can. So you can try, and then you can try, and then if it doesn't fit, then try again, and then try again, etc.
Yeah, you can just try every single combination. There's like how many of them?
Like there was
15,
like
15 possible outputs.
Oh, right.
Only 15? Yeah, that doesn't take that long. Just brute force them all. That's certainly one way to solve the puzzle. What was the idea behind that? We're drunkenly outputting the output.
Well, so honestly, so the inspiration of the puzzle was, man, you know what's a nice name for a puzzle? BoozeSort. I should make a puzzle called BoozeSort, and then I did. But the idea to allow output conditionals was not an idea I had at first, and it was kind of at a whim at the start, because I was like, it's a weekly. In most computation puzzles, you're not allowed to use output conditionals. Like, what if you did? What if you could?
It works in favor of the puzzle. Yeah.
Like, could you it's thematic even, but I was like, well, how does that free up the optimization space? And so, like, some of the early test solves I had were like, here's one that's like a normal computation solve, and then here's one that's just a pure brute force, and then the metric was chosen to try and keep a balance between that. I think it worked out all right.
Yeah,
I think something you chose to. I think something you chose to do on a whim. I think the output conditional thing introduced some of the most interesting aspects of optimizing this puzzle. So, yeah.
Yeah, in the end, it turned out to be a really good idea.
Yeah, it's also pretty thematic because it's pretty similar to BoozeSort if you just brute force the whole thing. And BoozeSort, close enough.
So, all right, we are going to. There's only one metric as per customary, the cost plus cycles multiplied by 5 plus area. We're gonna start at 27th place for the single metric. Wait a sec. Hello, Jasper.
Hello, Jasper, and last. That means this is probably not a standard metric. Cost. Yeah, that sounds right.
This is our min cost solve.
It's brute forcing. Of course it is.
This is permuting trying every permutation of the
input even.
Yeah.
Not just all 15 possible outputs. It's permutating the input in all different combinations.
I'm surprised that it only takes 3,000 cycles.
Yeah.
Only.
I guess just something to point out at the beginning, because people who are familiar with their solves will notice there's something a little bit incorrect about the overlay. The overlay is not going to display the worst case. It's not going to display the metric valuations for the worst case. It's going to just be for like the basic alcohol input. That's just a limitation of the validator.
Right.
So I do have the worst case statistics ready to read out if they're interesting. So for example, for this solve, the worst case cycles count is actually 3,684. So it's about 50 cycles worse than is listed here. And something that I found out about this solve while I was validating it is that it does more checks than it ever needs to. The tape loop is actually about 200 cycles longer than it needs to be. It will always manage to submit an output quite a long time before the tape loop. So it's actually Hello Jasper obviously didn't go back and check that, but yeah.
Not hyper optimizing the cost solve. How is he expecting to stay competitive in this environment? No, it was really neat to see this one come in, because it's like, yeah, output conditionals are allowed, so bare bones cost is possible just by, and the fact that the puzzle is just to permute the atoms into the correct order.
I think shall we skip though skip at this point because I don't think we are going to stare at ARM doing nothing for 3,000 cycles.
Wait, what is it doing? Oh, right, it's permuting the others.
Permuting the ghost atoms.
Yeah. Hello, Jasper. I appreciate that area.
Yeah, nice area count.
No, there it is. It's the next one.
All right. Next up is Fennel. 4,658. Wait, the sum? This one is a computational solve. All right. Easy to understand. Okay.
I guess we should explain how computation in this works first, though.
Sure. So, if it is fire, then it is caught by. Then it is fire can triplex bond. So if it is fire, it is extracted from here to and dropped off here. If it is salt,
there's actually two ways to differentiate salt. Either you can try to duplicate it and check if it duplicated into fire, because water can't be duplicated, or you could try throwing it in animismus. I don't know if we have any animismus solves.
I think we will see one later.
Yep.
So those are the two ways you can differentiate salt from all other atoms.
In this solve, it uses the duplication method. Salt cannot triplex bond, so it misses the bonding here, and then it duplicates. Salt can be duplicated, so it gets bonded and then is dropped up here. If it is water, then it is handed off to this arm. and then the remaining thing is like, and then the remaining thing is to bond everything.
Yeah. So this is the basic process that is going to be a very it's going to be common to pretty much all the computation solves. Is just, you have a process which can without fail distinguish between the three kinds of atoms. You separate the three kinds of atoms into separate sticks, recombine the sticks in sorted order, and then output. And I do like this solve because it has everything nice and spaced out. It's really easy to see what it's doing, and it's almost perfect to have this like right at the very beginning, so that we can just
it's a good
talk about it
second
without.
solve to start. It's a good second solve to start with.
Yeah.
we ignore Hello Jaspers.
The first one was like showing what is possible given the puzzle.
Yeah. We will see later on even sillier things that are possible, but I won't spoil them yet. An area solve isn't that difficult. It's a bonder in the output.
I'll agree to disagree.
And yes, so something that I've also been taking note of the solves as I've been verifying is what input gives the worst case, and what causes it to be the worst case. In some cases, it's because it takes longer to output a certain case. In some cases, it's because that input causes the solution to take up more area. And this solve is one of the latter kinds. So the worst case for this solve is the all water case, and that's simply because it happens to take up more area than the others. They all output at exactly the same speed, so area becomes the determining factor in the worst case.
All right, at 25th place, Nightshine. I guess. He writes, go ahead and run a worst case. A mixture is better for my solver, actually. The worst is any salt water molecule. I would actually rather see a best case or randomly generate a mixture that successfully passes a molecule every time one is made. I don't have the model.
So this is the shenanigans I mentioned. Who needs the computational input?
If you are trying to cost optimize on this one, then you might need it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
so this one
this cost optimize needs it, but this one doesn't.
This one just tests all the possible outputs one after the other.
All 15 cases. Yeah.
And to save time, it rather than just using the one stick, it does all of the water tests with one stick and then remakes the test stick with fire and salt. I think, is that right? Or it uses multiple sticks per test. So. Oh yeah, 3 different sticks. Thanks, Nightshine.
The link Nightshine just sent to Twitch is the I guess meme.
Yeah, the guy with the dress shirt, just with his arms folded, and then the second panel, he's throwing them up in exasperation. I guess. It's so good.
I guess it works. Are there any notes?
Notes I've read in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Next up, half L ring. who writes, "Me have Elring, Mikulius, and what is it? Bifang Fei Shui, now both in a QQ group. I'm sure that only 3 of us joined the weeklies as Chinese."
Wait, do you actually read Chinese accents?
No, that's Google. That's Google Translate.
Yeah,
Oh, I see.
and also it's the email address just has Bifang Fei Shui in the in the email address. Yeah. But so this solve unfortunately is not a ranked solve because it does not correctly handle the varying input, but because Half Ring didn't really have enough time. We weren't able to get in touch with Half Ring in time for them to fix it, and we still wanted to show it. But so this is where it would place if it had successfully.
All right, that's why.
Handled, yeah. But yeah, as you can see, it crashes here because there are some sequences of inputs where it will actually submit twice, and then the output, an input, well, the output will get sort of desynced, I suppose you could say, so that there is no way for it to output material fast enough later on. Like it outputs twice when it shouldn't do, so then it has twice as much material at one point when it shouldn't do, and so then it crashes.
So what I'm seeing is that if it only had one side, then it would have succeeded.
Yeah. I think this purely has 2 sticks as a time save, and it's unfortunately what causes the trouble.
Unfortunate indeed.
But you know where you would have placed now.
All right. Next up is 24th place, Trixie Kagami Alchemy Company. 81 worst case scenarios. Oh Jesus.
Oh,
would you like me to? Shall I?
Sure, you can read the notes.
Yeah. Wait, people are buying actual liquor for their engines? I get the alcohol is easy to separate from the additives, but unless you're getting some seriously strong stuff, these bottles are literally labeled as their total volume being under 20% actual alcohol. It'd be better to just use pure elemental water, fire, and some calcifiers to get much more liquor much more quicker. Why are we buying from breweries at all? And then there's a line break to say, and then there's a line break to separate the law from the solve notes. Well, 81 worst case scenarios for cycles anyway. Your area may vary. As usual, when I make a computation solve, this is some of my best work. It's definitely not optimal, but as a second-rate alchemist, I take a sense of pride in making an engine that solves this puzzle at all, regardless of placement. It's nothing too impressive, just some standard checks to see what's a fire, what's a salt, and what's are neither of those things, and is therefore water. This machine does not take advantage of the fact that you can check your work using the output glyph at all. Instead, take this as an example of what an engine could look like if checking against the output was not allowed. I'm excited to see solves more than 1,702 weighted sum less than this. It was really fun making this machine. Good luck to those placing above me. Signed, Trixie Kagami, the Cheshire Alchemist, sorting 3 atoms since 2025.
This
is using salt.
Yep. So this is an example of using animismus to sort out the salt.
And a common feature of animismus solves is that you, by nature of how the glyph works, you will end up with a lot of atoms that you need to work out what to do with, whether that's dumping them in disposal or pushing them off to infinity. And Trixie does both.
Right. Trixie mentioned that 1,702 some less than this. Well, that's less than 1,000. I really want to see that, is the question.
Oh yeah, we should mention the bet that. Should we mention the bet that
I don't think yet. I don't think yet is
okay.
But suffice it to say, I have my tomato ready. But the other thing I think the impressive thing to note is just how much faster this solve is. I mean, this is a direct computational solve, but it's also pretty speedy. I mean, it's very substantially faster than the other solves that we've seen, and it has a very short inner loop. Actually, I think this is this is a 16 cycle inner loop, so it's just four cycles per input atom, which is pretty speedy.
I love the pinwheel here.
Oh yeah, it's very pretty, very aesthetic.
Oh, the fire one. Yeah. All it does is it's there to check for the fire inputs.
All right, next up, 23rd place, RPO.
It's your fellow teammate, Mr. Puzzle, that unfortunately can't be on a team with you this week.
Yeah.
Next week, though.
The note simply says, shelf of reagents.
I just saw the lore for the next week. I was checking it. Thanks. We will see that later.
Yeah, so this is another animismus push everything off to infinity kind of solve. But the thing it wins over the previous solve is mostly just that it's over 100 gold cheaper. Although it's slightly larger in its worst case.
What's the worst input on this?
So I have in my document, I have every worst case listed as a string of 4 letters. For this solve, I have IDFK. Because I literally don't fucking know. And this solve takes so long. It gets so chuggy when I try and run it quickly that I couldn't, it was too much of a pain to work out what the worst case was, I'm afraid.
All right. Also, something I noted that I think is interesting. This has 5 cycles per atom, while having the exact same cycles as the Trixie solve.
Yeah, so it saves a lot of latency because you don't have Trixie's had that long conveyor belt track that just it had the sorted stuff. It was just slowly moving it along to the output station.
All right. Next up, 22nd place. NB Ventus. Liquor, I hardly know her.
Liquor? I hardly know her.
Oh yeah, just 18 points better than the previous one.
Oh, wow, are we on the pile-ups already? What is that track doing there? Why is this so long? It's moving all right.
Yeah. It's amazing that it has such a close score to the previous one because the metric balance is completely different.
Yeah.
It's about half the cost, twice the cycles, and half the area. In the worst case, or to that order of multiplication.
The notes are screw your fire, salt, water order. Water, salt, fire is clearly better. That was for flavor humor. No actual insults are meant. I could try optimizing this for some, but just getting a working soap took enough brain power. I'm gonna optimize this for sanity instead.
Those were some very good hiccups, Axton.
Alright. What's the worst case on this one?
It's the all water.
All water.
Yeah, it's all water, and it's because I think it's because it takes slightly longer.
Yeah, you can see the arm on the side outputting twice. So it's probably the second output is one of the cases of having more water.
Yeah, it's because the arm that outputs is the one that carries
water is
the
coming up.
fire
It's
and
right there.
salt. Yeah, it's because it carries the fire and salt there, so it doesn't have to re-grab if there is any fire and salt. But if there's no fire and salt, then that one has to grab the all water to output it. So that's why all water is slower.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Alright.
Yeah, you can see it right now. Or, well, we just saw it on stream. I have delay.
Alright. Next up is in 21st place is Pi Fang Fei Shui. I think I hope I got the tonings correct.
The first one was wrong, but close enough. New solution 3. Copy.
Combo break.
I like this. Very busy looking.
It's a very busy looking brute force solve.
I like how the catalysts are constantly dancing around.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a guy mixing cocktails.
So this one, yeah, this is like half as cheap as the previous one too.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, the advantage
of
oh no, sorry.
I was gonna say the advantage of not having a super long track.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, like this style of brute force, you don't need very much machinery. Most of the expense is on glyphs, in fact, and it is inevitably slow though, because like the majority of the work you're doing is completely useless. But I was a big fan of this one simply because it made my life so much. It was a brute forcer that didn't have any waste. It made my life so much easier to check.
Thank you, 比方飞雪。感谢你，故意就不用那么麻烦的要等那个跑很久。I don't know if they're listening, but
All right. At 20th place, Mikulius.
Oh, the third Chinese player.
The Japanese translates into if you can read this, you know I'm not Japanese.
この文が読めるなら私が日本人ではないわかるでしょ?
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you could pronounce it, and then you did.
Another brute forcing solve.
Brute forcing is easy.
Ah yes, this has a
Are there any half brute force solves? Maybe.
Maybe.
So yeah, the previous Bifang Feishuo's Brute Force had a worst case in the all waters. This one has a worst case in the all fires. I'm not sure
Does it just
what
check it
led
last?
Yeah, they just check the all fire case last. Yeah, and they use Burler, which saves on machinery, I think.
I like how it strategically touches everything, the wrong cardinals. Jams the wrong cardinals are already like colored with something else, so it doesn't fire.
Oh yeah, that's pretty smart.
All right. Next up, 19th place, 42 Genius 42. Lucky Sticks. Based on Lucky Stick, but there are 2 of them. The trade-off was only worth it in terms of a reduction of 15 cycles per loop, from 70 to 55, but weighted sum weighted heavily for fewer cycles. Gold and area compromises were worth it. Yup, Mr. Puzzle said, this is legit despite no direct booze input. This is more like moonshine.
Lots of people not using the computational input.
What is
as
ostensibly a computational, yeah.
Well, as 42 Genius 42 says in the chat, this also has a worst case of the all fire because it checks it last.
Yeah.
That's the last output, alright.
I like that it calcifies everything before it chucks it in the bin. It's like, all right, fun's over. You're all salt now.
Alright. Next up, 18th place, Slap Drill. New solution 1. Yeah, this happens when you try to do computational solve on this one. Slap Drill simply writes, built in about 30 minutes. Didn't bother optimizing for any metrics. Too lazy to add a second pipeline. This is like this is only 4 points better than the previous one. All right.
Damn. We're really getting a pile up all the way up here at 2,000.
No, I think it's 103 points better than the previous one.
All right. My cursor was on the wrong one. Yeah. 100 points.
Okay, never mind. Oh, I mean 100 isn't that far either,
So
right?
Here we can also see one of the.
It's in the 2000s. Yeah, 100 is like that. Isn't that?
But something that I think this solve demonstrates really well is that actually sorting distinguishing the 3 atoms doesn't take very much effort or machinery at all. But recombining the atoms in sorted order can actually be a surprising can be a surprisingly big headache, actually. And it makes up the majority of the cost in this solve, in fact.
Cost and area.
Yeah.
All right.
But see, yeah, good work for just solve the thing.
All right. Next up is in 17th place, Puyu. Oh wait, this is also like 102 points better than the previous one. Layered cocktail.
We're getting 100 drops.
They write, a not significant amount of time was spent trying to figure out the significance of allowing output conditionals. At first, I was trying to find an efficient way to cycle through all 24 permutations of 4 atoms, but this was way too slow and cannot be the intended idea. Then I thought about only distilling the fire and permuting the rest, but I have no idea how to execute that. Ultimately, just treated the puzzle as using standard computational rules. This also uses the animismus, but everything is dumped except for the fire.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why this, rather than a lot of solves, you'll see them pivoting the stabilized fire around the triplex just to reuse the input. This one goes through the trouble of splitting it up and duplicating, and I mean, I suppose it's fair, right? Because all of the other stabilized fire that's sitting underneath the first one in the output port, like, actually gets to participate in the solve.
Fuyunokaze in Twitch says they never realized that they could just pivot the stick.
Yeah. So one of the oh no, sorry, they're talking about the waste chain. Yeah.
Totally wasted waste chain.
Pivots are underrated, Fortitude, Genius Fortitude. They're actually really useful when it comes to recombining the sticks together in the sorted output.
All right. Next up, at 16th place, Greenfield. Counting sort 3. Counting sort extracts each element from the line into a bucket, then bonds them in order. Because a collision between two groups of atoms can only occur if one of the groups is less than 4 atoms, we can overlap a chain of length 4 such that the last pair of atoms completely covers the bonder.
This one is back. Huh?
This one is really we haven't seen this yet.
Oh yeah, this way of disassembling the input,
putting the input through the vegetable chopper.
It feels more like those bread slicing machines they have in Germany. It's Germany,
allows it
right?
to, this is another pretty speedy one. This is like an inner loop of 16.
Yep. Is this the fastest one we've seen yet? It is.
No, it's not. It's not the fastest.
No, we have seen
worst
yet.
Case.
We have seen yet.
No. We've seen a faster worst case than this.
All right.
Yeah, Fuyu's actually has a faster worst case than this, I believe.
All right.
Yeah, the metrics that are the sum are just a general guideline. They're based on the default puzzle.
All right.
Which is just alcohol, I think. The default test case. Pouring beer onto the chopping board and hitting the puddle with a knife.
Oh no! Sorry, Hangston. I think I'm completely wrong. I have a completely wrong. I have my metrics listed for Greenfield are just completely not correct. So yeah, you're probably right. This is the fastest that we've seen so far.
All right. Next up at 15th place, by Jamu. Kazian's solution. Simply writes, I hate computation.
What do you mean, Kazian's solution?
It's funny. Kazian and Jamu both referenced each other in their solution titles and notes, I think.
They what?
What? Yeah, that's.
Well, the only one I see from Kazian is just the
number. Yeah.
The metric number. Yeah.
Well, no, it's not in Kazian's. So it's in his notes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna go read.
But yeah, this has got a pretty funky, pretty interesting worst case. The worst cases that I can determine is actually an output that ends that any input that gives you an output of fire, salt, water, water. It's the worst, and it's the worst both because of its cycle count and because of its area. So it's worse for cycles because it has to walk it the maximum number of. You see the output arm. Is it number 21? Has to walk it the maximum number of times, but it also has the largest area among all the cases that take that long to output. So it's kind of unique.
All right. This is that was the worst case, right?
Yes. Yeah, I think this puzzle gave Jam a bit of a brainworm as well, because she was she submitted a lot of solves that had in their notes like just submitting a solve just to get it overdone with, not thinking about this anymore. And then like 20 minutes later, there would be another solve come in that said exactly the same thing, but was slightly lower.
Yep.
What was Jamu's little bet?
Oh, Jamu bet that I would have to eat a tomato. So if I don't have to eat a tomato, Jamu will have to eat noodles. Yeah, we will have to see.
I'm actually kind of out of the loop. Regarding.
Well, you'll be surprised.
All right. Next up, 14th place, Rebix. Just get me out of here.
Out of the alcohol chamber.
Very similar sentiment with the previous one, I think.
But yeah, let's all make note of this cycle count.
96.
96.
Wow. With a worst case of 105.
That is speedy.
Oh yeah, this is 3 cycles per 3 cycles per input bit. Yeah.
3?
3 cycles per input bit. Yeah.
Per bit. Okay, so 12 per output.
So yeah, this is how you get a 3-cycle inner loop. Sort of a 3-cycle per input bit loop. The unfortunate thing is that that means you need to be wanding atoms everywhere, and it takes a lot of extra machinery. So yeah, I mean, see, this is quite expensive.
1,000 exact. I see. As someone who attempted pure computation solves on this is impressive.
Yeah, very.
All right. Next up, 13th place, Coco 52. About half the cost, twice the cycles, and like half the area again. There's no notes.
Oh yeah, this looks way slower, especially in comparison to the previous solve.
8, 7, exactly 30. loop is exactly 30, so yeah, way slower.
They have exactly the same worst case, but for different reasons. In Rebec's Solve, it's the all-fire case because it's the slowest. In Cuckoo 52s, it's the all-fire case because it's the biggest.
All right.
Yeah,
this X is only hit with the all-fire. All right.
Yeah, it's. I think this is another pretty good demonstration that this weighted sum allows for some very, very different styles of solution to have very, very similar. Well, I mean that's always the case with a sum, but because the cycle's weight is so big, you can end up with very, very cheap solves that have got similar scores to very, very expensive ones, and yeah, it can be hard to work out like what the best rate to target is for like a full computation solve in particular.
Right. All right. 12th place. 4. 1500
fourth and then fourth.
Sleep deprivation is like inebriation, right? Woke up 3 hours before stream and hammered this one out.
Hybrid.
Hello.
Oh yes, we should explain what that means now.
So as far as I can work out.
It doesn't care about the water.
Yeah. So what this does, it counts fire only, and then it just guesses how much water there is.
Mm-hmm.
And it also does the fire in a way that no other solve does this. It builds a register or it builds a state machine which stores the amount of fire on the input stick, and then extracts that information afterwards by duplication.
Yeah, register stick advances by 1 as whenever there's a fire. Then it copies and then it duplicates fire back into the output stick. The amount of fire is determined by the initial location of the register stick.
I feel like this is something that could be way better if it had more time to optimize.
I was happy to see this solve roll in. I was hoping to see a register stick as one of the solutions, and so this one's got that. But I also just noticed that it doesn't fully take apart the input.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, Nancy Video, I think certainly I was also very surprised that no one else did this. I mean, when I was testing this, I tried something like this for like full computation. I did not, when I was testing hybrids, I did not do something like this. Yeah, I was very happy to see this also. Since we're at 1500 some, I suppose I should indicate. Now is as good a time to indicate what the bet was that I made.
You're not gonna reveal it at the end, or like once the bet triggers or anything.
Well, I think it's nice if people know that I've got it hanging over me as we approach.
All right. Even though you already know if you want to bet or not.
Do I? Okay, well, I don't know. What do people want to find out what the bet was now, or do they want to find out once we've seen everything?
What did the people say? Yes.
Okay,
now,
yeah. Well, Dark Drake has guessed correctly. So I bet earlier on in the week that nobody would make a solve that goes under 1,000. Because that seemed like a hard limit from the testing that we'd done, and it seemed at the time like there was no chance of anyone going underneath it. So that's why I made that bet. We will see if my hubris will come back to bite me, and I'm forced to eat a disgusting tomato. But yeah, for now.
All right.
Let's keep going.
11th place, 30 points better. Subway. 6 drinks limit. All right. This also, let me guess, this also crashes at the end.
Yeah, it only takes 6 drinks and then it's done.
We're seeing all the hybrid sauce now. This is a hybrid as well.
Yes, Calories, this was play tested quite heavily, actually.
I feel like the point of hybrid is that sometimes you just don't want to deal with water.
This one instead deals with. This one instead assumes like everything else is water, then calcifies it to test each case.
Because water is hard to verify. It has to go through 2 checks to make sure that water is water. So, why not make it go through no checks?
So I'm guessing this one, worst case is 3 fire, 1... 3... Any case that has 3 fire is the worst case?
No, it's the all salt case. It's just because it takes longer to do the all salt case and everything else, because it's got to do 4 calcifications.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, if it were regular sum, I think you would be correct, Haxton. But because this is weighted sum and cycles is so much heavier weighted than everything else, it just doesn't really matter.
All right. All right. Next up is actually my solve, which was completed like 1 day before the deadline.
Yeah, Haxton produced a playtest quite a while before the puzzle was due to be released, but then we didn't discover that it actually had a bug until after the release. And I had to be the sad one to inform. I had to, sadly message Haxton and be like, "I'm sorry, but this solve crashes."
I'm sorry, this solve crashes. Sobbing emoji.
Yeah, the assembly is the most difficult part in the puzzle. Look at how regular the detecting part is, and detecting part is just, and assembly part is just long tracks everywhere.
Yeah, so for those of you who
is hard because you don't know how much of each part there is.
Yes, so for those of you who had the unpleasant experience of me DMing you during the week to say that your solution didn't work, just know that the hosts were also not immune to that experience.
Yep.
Like the notes are just alternate lore about this one. Battle number 1 immediately caught fire upon uncorking. Great start. Battle 18 medicinal. Battle 21 one taster gave up, claiming that his mouth was burning. Battle 24 are there duplicates? Tastes exactly like 18 in Battle 18, which is not an experience one wishes to repeat. Battle 28 I think I've seen this in the vent has an airship hangar. Battle 41 a bottle of tri-stabilized salt pairs well with popcorn. Battle 56 smelled wrong, gave the rat, won't touch it. Battle 59 finally the good stuff, bland, too strong. Battle 68 saltwater. Battle 81 feels like spit, did not drink it. All right.
We should also, since we're mentioning the alternate lore, we should also mention the original lore that we wrote when there wasn't lore.
Oh yeah, the original puzzle lore.
Let me go find it. Wait.
I believe I can quote it from memory. It said,
Yeah.
the lore will be posted once the author sobers up. Yeah, people with good memories might realize what that is.
Let me get the exact
what that's
wording.
referencing.
There was an emoticon on the. While you guys are finding the old lore, I'm gonna move on to the top 10.
Yeah. This section will be updated with the lore when I sober up. There.
All right. 10th place by Ebonob. Which is minus, how much is it? Minus 127 and 123.
Damn, big drop.
Yeah, the primary gradient on primary like distribution on this puzzle is really interesting.
So this is another
also
hybrid.
a hybrid, so yeah.
And yeah, this is a very unique style of hybrid, because
it doesn't check the salt case.
It does, because so what it does is it combines brute force checking of just certain set cases, and then it starts duplicating off of the input. And the checks are chosen in such a way that either the brute force checking works, or the input is already sorted and submits at the end. The problem is that originally this solve has some cases where the input is already sorted, and both it and the brute force both submit. And that's not a problem when you're only checking one case repeatedly, because you just submit twice as much stuff. But when you have an input and an output that is constantly changing, and you have by coincidence two outputs which are the same in a row, even if the inputs are different, then you end up with the problem that some of our earlier solves, or like I think it was Half a Ring solve had, where the input and output get desynced, and so suddenly you have too much material at one point that can't exit the machine. And this was a bug that Ebonov had some difficulty with, and I was sending videos and trying to work out what the bugs were, and I'm really happy that they got it working in the end, because yeah, this is the only solve I think that does this approach, and it's really cool.
I think the notes roughly like describe what you have just explained.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Like sorting input by fire and non-fire always work for the 9 outputs where input doesn't have at least one water and salt. Then the left side builds a secondary stick and covers the rest of 6 outputs over 3 drop attempts. Alright.
But yeah, good job getting it working, Ebonov, and it was worth it because you got top 10.
Mm-hmm. Alright, next up is a host solve. Your solve, Kui.
It is, yes.
A computation
one of my hosts.
This low.
Yes. Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah, so you can still get full computation down this low. And this solve was really, I made this solve before actually it was known for definite whether we would be using the output conditional thing. So this was before I even tried anything that used output conditionals. So I do have another test solve that we will see later. But yeah, this is my sober sorter.
Also, I'm just gonna mention the crit tally is completely uncovered. Crit tally is never hit.
Nope, never used. And I mean, this has everything that we've already seen before. The one thing that I will mention though is that ARM 13, which brings the fire up, you may notice that it drops over the output, and that's because it attempts to output the all fire case early. And the reason it does that is so that you know that when something is put onto the bonder, it won't be the all fire case. So ARM 14 doesn't ever have to regrab. So that's a cycle save that affects the whole machine. It speeds the whole machine up, getting to do that output drop. And it also doesn't count as an output conditional because it will only ever be the complete molecule when it is the correct output. So yeah, I thought that was a pretty neat idea. Nobody else used it. But there's probably a good reason for that.
All right. Next up, 8 points better by Darkbrick. 12 lesser than 20. I guess the loop length is 20. Loop length is 12. You don't need notes for this one. I'm sure you'll figure it out.
The solution speaks for itself. Well, it's computation, and there's only so many ways you can do the computation.
Oh yeah, Transcendental and Darkbrick are pointing out I was completely wrong because Darkbrick does do exactly the same thing, but with the all water case instead. Yeah.
Uh-huh. All right.
But yeah, this is fast. This has got a per bit processing rate of 3, just like Rebix is.
Right.
But much smaller and cheaper.
Transcendental guy says that he forgot to say that he was in a team this week. With Darkbrick, okay. Alright. Thankfully, Transcendental guy never submitted in his name, so it's like not that much not that much of a problem on my side. Alright. Next up, 2 points better. Bambi.
Them the pileups.
Oh come on, says Darkbrick. Drunk cost fallacy. This is a good title. I like this title a lot.
Drunken cost fallacy.
Note just says, sipping on the tristabilized salt.
So no, Darkbrick, this isn't just your solve again. It has it has a lot of the same elements. It's slower. It's a 4 cycles per bit processing. And it's smaller and quite a bit cheaper as well. But the cycles difference in the weighted sum makes up for that. So yeah, they end up very close together. I think the tri-arm reuse is pretty cool here. A very nice cost saving.
Only possible on like 16 per input.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is, how much is it? Yeah, 15 points better. Sai looks away.
Damn, let's pile up.
I can't believe we're doing math on stream. I know this is a computation puzzle, but still.
Alright, the note says, I did not get a lot of time to solve this week, so here's a first solution with only a mild amount of optimization. I imagine doing the same thing as this solution as Shudo 3R using the remaining reagent as another one would do better. Another approach I could see getting low would be counting only the fire in the input, and then brute forcing the amount of water. But this needs many duplications, and to do it well, you have to recycle your failed output candidates. The geometry of doing so quickly and cheaply is tricky. All the atoms just travel down the hexagon and somehow got combined at the end. Like, I like how fire has the very long travel distance, so it has the space to, like, it has the space because fire separates early, so it is more likely to collide with everything else, but
Yeah. I obviously, I think the output condition is really the output conditional allowance is really interesting and gives some very interesting kinds of solves. But I have a special affection for the just pure computation solves because the smart ways that people found to get it smaller and cheaper and faster is just very satisfying to me. I'm a big fan of all of these computation solves.
the title Simple Sort 1248 copy, how much, like, how last minute was it? Like, I think it was like 6 minutes between the two submissions.
That was 3 seconds.
It was
something.
So this solve was submitted like 3 seconds before the deadline finished is when we got it, and it was so close to the deadline that they didn't even have time to update the title.
3 seconds.
Just a cup.
Dang.
Yeah.
All right. Next up. How much is it?
Bad news, Jamu.
24 points drop. Biggie. Yeah, apparently pure computation still is strong even at this low.
Yeah, I've been really looking forward to this. People realizing, from her notes, it doesn't look like Biggie even considered partial computation.
Partial computation is for drunkards. Biggie doesn't drink.
Also, I really like the R8. Really appreciate R8.
It's wonderful, yeah. And I mean, it's amazing the cost solves that Biggie has packed into this. This is really lovely to watch.
There's a note. Biggie writes, I figured period 12 would be doable, but it's a massive pain. period 16 is far easier as you can use a lot of period 4 atom handling. No anime dupe triplex calcify is good enough to handle salt versus water, and it doesn't require throwing anything away or pulling atoms from new sources. It seems that the only way to build the output is 3 separate bonding stations. I was able to reuse one of them for the final join, but the tinkering I did from my first design saved about 50 weighted sum by adding another bonder for joining the water to the rest, meaning 4 bonders, 2 triplex, 3 debonders, and a duplicator and a calcify. ARM 13 bothers me deeply. and for the all-water test case, it takes up extra area and 3 more cycles. I don't think that 20 weighted sum will burn me, but who even knows? I got tired of staring at it with no way to fix it.
Yeah, fortunately for Biggie, it didn't actually matter in the end.
Right. Next up, at 1,165 points, who was celebrating in the chat, Crazybot.
Yeah, well done, top 5 Crazybot.
Yeah, congratulations.
So we're back to hybrid.
Mm-hmm. Crazybot writes, I anticipate a fair number of solves will share this approach. Sort the atoms into fire and not fire. Then guess how much water there is with output conditionals. This caps the rate and thus the cycles of this solve, but the expense of separating the water from the salt proved too great every time I tried, and believe me, I tried. Honestly, I'm a little upset. I wish output conditionals weren't allowed. I submitted my solve that doesn't use them as showcase. Other than that, this was a fun computation puzzle. I'm looking forward to seeing all the better approaches people find.
Yeah, it's really funny to me that Crazybot's like, nah, I wish output conditionals weren't allowed, because he was in my DMs being like, why is nothing that I'm trying better than my guests sing the song? Getting like really upset about.
You're intended to do that.
Yeah, it's that's what happens when you just you stumble into an optimal strategy straight away. Yeah, you got the source. Your solve was appropriately sourced from the beginning.
All right. Remember this part as we move down the list. 4th place, Sajidi. I am confident on the algorithm, but it may lose to a slower but way cheaper solve. Some points can be scraped from this solve by thoroughly iterating it, but it looks decent enough. How it works: perform 4 fire checks and assembles the fire in one stick and the salt waters in the other. Every salt is duped to water to enable output conditionals. Both sticks are joined by grabbing and joining the 2 last atoms that were added to the stick. The joint stick guarantees that every fire is on one side and every water is on the other. To distinguish every salt case, I use output conditionals. The fire-water stick is fed conditionally to an arm that grabs it on different cycles depending on the initial length of the water substick. Then the waters are sequentially calcified after each output conditional, which covers every case. Thanks to the delay, the fires skip the calcification of the initial steps as the output gets delayed by the amount of fires present in the stick. There is an edge case when there are 4 fires, since it would crash if the next input is 4 waters. To mitigate that, when the fire stick is 4 long, the last atom is conditionally grabbed to feed the stick earlier. Since the full fire stick outputs directly, there are no wrong calcifications if the stick is fed earlier than it should.
Yeah, so an earlier version of Sergius Solve did have a bug where the all fire case would not output fast enough, and so the next input would crash into it. But he fixed it.
Uh-huh. Can you show 3 fire, 1 salt?
I don't think we
Oh,
can
okay.
change the
Here it
options.
is. Here it is.
Yeah, there we go.
Ooh, that's close to the next one coming after it.
Yeah, it's pretty close up here too.
That 3 fire and 1 salt was outputting right before the next
Yeah.
next output would come in.
Yeah. So this and the previous hybrids that have all been running on a 17 are sort of in a loop. The reason for that is because you need 5 drops over the output, and between each of them you need grab, move, move. So you do grab, move, drop, grab, move, drop, grab, move, drop, grab, move, drop, and then the first drop can happen immediately after the last one of the previous, because you know it's going to be empty. So so this strategy where there are 5 checks, the maximum speed is 17R, and Sergi's doing that. So yeah, you get this situation where sometimes there are 2 outputs immediately after one another.
All right. All right. Next up, 1125. Wait, a sum. How much difference is it?
6 better.
Points. 6 points better. Avenger Ruler and Skyhawk. 96. That's fast. Skyhawk.
Oh, that's another 96.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last time we saw it this fast was Rex.
Yeah, the worst. Well, it's actually slower than Rebix's. The worst case for this is slower than Rebix's.
Still fast though.
Yeah, very.
Skyhawk.
Go ahead, Haxton.
Found this assembly where the 2 helps snap together and liked it how it normalizes the stick position. Glad output conditionals are allowed, so I don't need to deal with salt conditionals.
Yeah. So I was just talking about 17R being the limit for one where you have to do 5 output checks. This one is 13R because what it does 14, is it propagates 14. Any 14. Sorry. Is it? Oh, it has an extra cycle for some reason then, because it could be 13. But yeah, so what this does is if there is any water, it propagates the water down to the end of the stick and then never calcifies the last atom, so that it knows that if it's water, it never has to duplicate water onto it, and if it's salt, it's already correct. So it only has to do 3 duplication attempts, so it can run faster.
All right.
Yep. Gets that last atom correct no matter what.
And it also doesn't need to use the stabilized water input, because if there's any water in the output, it'll be at the end, and so it already has some to start duplicating from.
All right. That's clever, yeah. Alright, next up is another horse soap by Gui again.
But this time, I've been at the drink.
It's that motif again. echoey drunk.
So you may notice that there's a big. I'll read the notes,
well,
Haxton. You may notice there's a big waste stick getting pushed off. So the reason that I do this is because this was a big cost save actually when I found this thing because well it from the solve that I previously had it saved a lot of cost from duplicators, but also that area does not matter because in the worst case, the all water case, that waste never gets built, so it never counts towards the weighted sum. So this solve has a very direct trade-off between speed and area, which I thought was quite neat. And in the worst case, it has an area of 69. I was not going to make it 10G more expensive to make it perfect, however. So sorry about that. But yeah, this is the solve that I felt so confident in this that I was like, nah, 1,000, not sub 1,000, not going to happen. But yeah, okay, I'll read the notes. My daddy was a good man who lived life on the edge, and boy, did he let me feel it sometimes. The edge of his tongue, the edge of his belt. I deserved some of that. You know what they say about downriver kids? Break your window and break your heart. And I sure broke plenty of both. Anyway, my daddy lived on the edge, and at the end, I saw him get pushed clean over it. It was all because of that goddamn machine. I don't know how they managed to get that thing out from under the noses of them up at the big house. All I know is they brought it to my daddy to fix, and he fixed it up good. Next thing you know, he's purifying water for the neighborhood, cooking up medicines for the sick kids on the block. Soon people were calling in at our house with jobs for him every hour of the day and night. My mommy moved in with her sister next door just so she could get some peace and quiet. But we were all proud of him. A lot of it wasn't what you'd call legal, but in our part of town, what is? Anyway, we figured it was more honest work than turning stuff into gold for people with too much gold already. My daddy, he'd had trouble with the drink a long time ago. They call it a habit, but it's more like a worm, something that burrows into your gut, eats you from the inside out. We all thought he'd killed it years ago. But, well, that machine can make a lot of stuff. And by accident, one day, it made booze. Real strong stuff, not watered down like they got at the Three Bald Nuns. He used to taste everything he made just to make sure it was safe. And all it took was a taste. This time, the worm ate him till there was nothing left. It happened so quickly. When it was all over, I buried him out on the mudflats, out in the bay, where he'd have a nice view of the harbor when the sun comes up every day. He used to love that sight. What? No, I didn't keep the machine. I smashed the fucking thing, hurled it into the river. Good fucking riddance. Kept the marbles, though. Gave them to the kids, just to make them happy. This is what my daddy would have wanted.
Is this based on any real story anyway?
No.
Good lordo.
Mm-hmm.
Kazian, you can't say things like that.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, I like the output sequence here with the water testing. It's got two dupes just swinging it back and forth.
Yeah, so this is an area safe that some people didn't find. I think possibly because you don't. It's hard to realize that you've got exactly enough time to get the stabilized water out of the way. This was actually, I didn't come up with this. This is Mr. Puzzle who sort of demonstrated this to us. And it was only after I'd seen like an example that I built, I started iterating on machines with output conditionals and ended up with something like this. Yeah, anyway, let's find out if I have to eat a tomato.
94 to go.
All right. Second place. Bye.
I think it's kind of 95 because the
Oh, sorry.
sub 1000.
Oh.
Oh, one more chance. One more chance. Unless there's a gooey alcoholic.
This is like
I've not got a drinking problem. What are you talking about?
What do you mean? I just so gonna have to eat a tomato? Oh no!
My daddy didn't raise no alcoholic. I don't know why I go to Brooklyn when I'm pretending to be drunk.
Gooey's father, 999. Waited some.
Is this the cheapest since Jasper's? Kelly Risses asks.
Well, we could see.
No.
No.
The what was it? P-Funk Patron.
This is the cheapest and smallest hybrid solve that we will see, though. The winning solve does not have Pareto this.
Since Kazuya.
Since
Hello Jasper, yeah.
Well, so I'm just gonna I'm gonna read a message that I sent to the other hosts 2 days ago, on the 14th. It has a screenshot of Kazuyan's score and says, "Okay, I'm gonna need Kazuyan to fucking chill." You had me worried, Kazuyan. You had me worried.
You made the bet after that, didn't you?
I made the bet aloud. I had made it privately to myself already.
Okay.
So, Kazuyan writes in the notes, the best solutions will have a better rate than 17. I tried to come up with state machines based on triplex logic, but the sheer sequentiality of having to check fire, duplicate fire onto salt, and then check everything again made all my ideas either hand-wavy or way too complex to actually attempt building. Prediction: Jamu beats this solution.
Oh, no, that's not. Jamu drunk coming up.
But yeah, it was pretty funny that you both thought the other would do better or something. It was pretty funny.
All right.
Moment of truth.
All right. Next up, first place. Gui does not get to have a tomato.
Yes! You can't have a tomato as a treat.
Does not have to eat a tomato. But what's the inner loop for this one?
It's a 13, I think. Yes, it is. It's 13. So this does what Avenger Children Skyhawks did. Just cheaper and faster and smaller, I think. Or maybe just faster and smaller. Yeah. This is the fastest partial computation.
Uh-huh. All right. That's a interesting looking waist.
I guess less so waste and more just setup.
Yeah. Because the arm, what is it? 2 needs that fire atom in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to shout out like how much iteration Cadarisis did once he got below 1100. Like we have solves from Cadarisis which are as cheap as 390G and as expensive as 470G all with different cycle counts and areas. So he did like a lot of iteration to work out what the best balance of cost and speed was. So yeah, very very well deserved victory. Yeah, this is wonderful.
Yep. I was very entertained as the week went on. Like, Callie and Kazian were neck and neck for quite a while, and like one would get a shave, and then the other would get a shave. It was really close.
Calirus is in the notes. He writes about the He writes how it is a hybrid solve, and then also the second paragraph writes, "Fun fact: the Critelli and the hex below are unused in the worst case of all water. There's no fire, so Critelli is covered in the case of fire when there's like more than 3 fires, but in all water there's no fire."
Yes, in the worst case, it has a cycles count of 104 and an area of 88.
All right. All right. Congrats everyone about solving. Congrats everyone who submitted something on this.
Yeah, computation is never easy. Well, I mean, sometimes it is, but you know, it's still impressive to solve a computation puzzle nonetheless.
Yeah, and thank you, Mr. Puzzle. This was, I mean, even just just playtesting this was so much fun.
Yeah, it's a delightful
really
puzzle.
Good puzzle.
Thank you. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It almost seems like a lot of choices that I made on a whim or as a coincidence just wound up being really good. Because like one of the things I was really happy with was, like, I had said, well, let's do output conditionals. That would be a fun treat. Let me try and tweak the metric to penalize completely brute forcing it. And like, I happened to choose a metric, and allowing output conditionals happened to allow such a large variety of different approaches that all were fairly competitive with each other. Because like we saw, like, pure computation went really low, and brute force went not as low, but it still went pretty low. And like, well, and like
it did compete with some actual computation solves. Mr. Puzzle, you still there?
Oh yeah, I'm still here. I was just done talking. Is all.
Oh, okay.
For people who may be sad about the tomato bet, I also have a tomato. I think tomatoes are kind of nice, actually. I thought it'd be fun to just have one to eat. So.
You're not gonna throw it at Gooey? I guess Gooey won the bet.
Gooey won the bet.
You can throw the tomato at me if you want. I mean,
as long as it's not in your mouth.
No, it's mine. I'm going to eat it.
I don't know. Are tomatoes like a hangover cure, or?
What if they were?
Maybe. I've never been drunk. I wouldn't know. I think we can do showcase first. We haven't been on this puzzle for that long.
All right.
Yeah, and then we'll do puzzle review after that.
Sure. Showcase. This is sorted by primary. It's sorted by cost. Highest cost first. Do you want this order or what?
Oh Lord, highest cost first. I know which one's first. Oh boy.
Yeah, just go by that order. I didn't sort that. Right. It would have been highest W sum as well.
All right.
I should have suggested like instructions or inverse cost. Oh well.
And, well, you can see why this is the highest cost.
Ominous.
Ominous.
You don't need, just zoom out all the way for this shit.
I cannot zoom out any more than this.
You cannot zoom out any. Oh no. So this solves in 11 cycles. It's 2R.
No. It's
Is it?
1R. It just
It's
has like
1R, but has 5
it's gonna-
cycles of setup time.
Yeah, it's got like 5 cycles of latency. But yes, this is a 1R solve.
Solid
It's
state
hacked,
switch.
obviously. There's a bajillion inputs and disposals and burlows. And
Oh boy, we're doing computation, but simulating it like a real computer. Oh no.
So, is there any point in me asking you to explain how it works, or would it take
No,
too long?
well,
Can you give us the logic diagram? How about that?
Okay, there's 2 chips, let's say, that I had to make. I made a chip that turns earth to salt, but only earth to salt. So if you give it earth, fire, or water, it only turns earth to salt. It leaves fire and water alone. The other chip that I made is it uses a unification glyph, and if a cardinal matches, then the glyph will fire and it will output 2 atoms not swapped. No, it will output them swapped. But if it is not a match, then it does not output them swapped. A conditional swapper. If there's a match, it'll swap. If there is no match, it does not. And this solve works by saying, okay, first we're going to turn salt in the input into earth. We're also going to create some additional earths. We are then going to swap pairs based on whether one of the pairs is earth. And you can quickly and efficiently sort out, like, because we have extra earths to help with the sorting, we can sort all the fires onto the top 4, all of the waters onto the other 4, sort those together, turn the earths back to salt, and then you duplicate the fires onto the output, and then you duplicate the waters onto the output. And because it's sorted, you're never going to have fire and water trying to duplicate onto the same one.
It's so simple. I'm amazed nobody else thought of this.
To be fair, this doesn't do well within the metric scores, but it is fast.
Oh yeah, no, metric score is shit because it's expensive as hell.
Metric score is about 20,000.
Also, the solution does not conform to the metric restrictions. But it is 1R.
There's like 29 parallels. All right. Right. Mr. Puzzle, are you going to read your notes, or should I read it?
I can read them. Let me get them up quick. Found in Melker Polson's workshop. To do. Research quintessence more. What if it could partially separate into new quasi-primes? Salt channels? Like salt lines, but set into the engine surface. Whole thing acts like a single proxy. Return unifiers to Henley.
We don't need no stinking unifiers in this solve.
I love that this is shaped like a loudspeaker because I don't have the stream volume turned on, but it looks loud to me.
I can hear the disposals. Not literally, I can hear them in my head. Chung, 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 chung.
Alright, next up is by Darkbrick. Output conditionals. What the... What is this half circle? Why is this half circle? Okay.
Yeah, so this has, this is also a brute forcer, but it does it in a slightly different way.
Then it compresses it into Quint.
It
yeah, the
has
waist
to compress
compression
it
is a
into
really
Quint
neat
because
touch,
it cannot deal with everything otherwise. Oh god, this is amazing.
That's a circle, right?
Is nice.
It's nice. Yeah. Next up, another. It's very circle.
Is very round.
Rotund.
Alright, next up by Mr. Puzzle again. Right.
Again.
What? Oh.
Oh, that is scraping the bottom of the beer barrel.
Oh.
Everyone loves a callback.
This is a brute force solve, is right.
Yep.
Amazing.
This is beautiful. Wow.
I feel like we should have added an epilepsy warning before this.
It looks like you just spilt a puddle of atoms on the floor, and then they just sort of like phase in and out of existence until they produce the right output. I love it.
Amazing. This is really reminiscent of Die Hard.
Yep. That's where the inspiration came from.
I can tell from this. I can tell from the solution title. I love it. Is there any method to this madness? Yes. Those waters and fires you see, they're cycling around the big molecule.
Yeah. There's like a duplication loop, and that loop contains should be a mathematically minimal pattern of fire, salts, and water, such that if you shift forward one, like you look at a 4 atom window, and then
it's essentially
you try
a cube camshaft.
Yeah. So like it'll have fire, 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 and then the next half step it'll do fire, 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 salt, and then the next half step it'll do fire, fire, salt, salt, and so on.
We saw a lot of puzzle solutions like this during Die Hard.
I wonder if I still have my notes, my notepad I was using to make this. No, I don't think so.
Is it like on average? Is it test? Does it test one? So if you does it take exactly 15 cycles to test everything?
Unfortunately, no. It takes longer than that. The pattern that's cycling around is 27 symbols long. So 15 of those will be a output pattern, but then the rest of them are like junk patterns
Duplicates.
where one run is transitioning to another run, and so you have like, next we'll try water, fire, salt. How come that didn't output? We'll try the next one. It's like, oh, well, of course.
All right.
Yeah, I can't check entirely different outputs. I assume it's just shifting by a certain amount every time.
All right.
Right. The 4 atoms that are above the output are not part of the cycle that's duplicating around. So every half cycle, the pattern shifts forward 1 atom, and then 4 atoms are copied onto the output atoms. And if they output, they output. If they don't, they don't.
Amazing. Right. Next up is by Kazian.
Harmonica. Oh.
Makes exactly 16 clocks.
Now instead of a camshaft, we're just straight up gray coding this.
There's a short novel of notes in here.
Oh boy.
Also, I appreciate that there's like.
Who wants to read the notes?
I can get them up if you like. Hold on.
Gooey is our resident notes reader now.
I can do it.
Oh, I've got them now. The young barback hated closing time. Grime, overturned bar stools, mysterious coloured liquids, all the responsibility of the cleaning crew in principle, but in practice he had to do the dirty work. At least tonight, those spills were alchemical instead of bodily fluids, given the clientele and their ternary computation machines. If he could tell himself that this splotch was a new dye instead of a mix of gin and bile, he could leave without his skin crawling right off his body. The dark of this city quarter, past midnight, made it hard to tell for sure. Black as the sky, black as moors. And the worst of it was the disorder. Such a busy night, so many bottles getting mixed up and out of place. It would take all night to put everything back how the bartender liked it. A man stopped slumping in his booth, drooping eyes waking as best they could. A shaky hand, red from decades of alcohol, danced over the holes of a dented harmonica. The other hand, in his lucky blue glove, adjusted his pork pie hat. The barback custodian met his eyes. "Last call was an hour ago, friend," he said. "You can't stay here." "I was just getting ready," the vagrant answered, in the voice of a man who knew no home, the kind of person who had looked 40 since his youth, and would look 40 until his final days. "See you tomorrow, Ollie," the barback said. Red Hand Ollie blew on his harmonica as the barback picked through misplaced bottles. Top shelf to top shelf, swill to the bottom. The tune started small, but grew in volume and tempo, filling the empty bar space. "The anthem of House Van Tassen, huh?" the barback said. "Yep," Ollie told him without looking up. "It was a nice place before history." He blew the closing etude. Bottles clinked together as the barback bent over, stood, and bent over again, rearranging. For minutes, Ollie sat. For seconds, Ollie stood. "Know any other songs?" the barback asked. "Just a few." The barback set down a bottle of something sparkling in amber, set to expire soon. Ollie's eyes lifted. It's going to be a long night for the both of us, the barback said. Can you play the one that goes, It's a lonely road, Ravari? You know. Red Hands Ollie sat back down, one bare hand and one lucky blue glove on the instrument. I think I know the tune, he answered, eyes closing again. And Ollie played, and Ollie drank, and the long night was not so long after all.
Good lord, good lord.
Close. Right. Calyris is asking in the chat that do I have the instructions map, and I figured out how.
That's cool.
Is this the proper minimal amounts of movements needed?
I think this is enough to cover 6 repetitions. Because
Yeah,
the
but
worst
like,
cases.
is each repetition like the minimum amounts of shifting of the bits you need to do? Well, I'm calling them bits. I think I guess ternary bits.
Each one checks one case by moving one pistol, except the final. This case, alright. Alright, next up by Crazyball 27. The one that does it properly.
No, none of this drunk bullshit.
Who says? This is my best soul without output conditionals. I like it more than my actual soul, but it scores about 100 weighted some worse. So it sadly gets relegated to showcase. Why are output conditionals allowed anyway?
Because we want you to use them, that's the point. We put them there so you could use them. The salt on the critic. Oh, yeah. It's just staying there forever.
Because of this catalyst.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Yeah, I said to Crazybot in DMs that I liked that salt, and I felt sorry for it because it was like, you know, sitting in the output glyph being like, oh, it's the big day. I'm going to get used in the computation puzzle. I'm so excited. And then it gets pulled and then it gets put there and nothing happens.
Oh, poor thing. Dark Brick saying, this hex, it was made for me. It at least gets pet once per period. Pat. That there. Oh no, somebody sent it to the froggy chair.
Alright, next up by Greenfield. Peak efficiency. Everyone give it up for the pinnacle of sorting algorithms. BoozeSort.
Oh yeah. Wrong thing. Check again. Still wrong. Check again. Still wrong. Check again.
This is what Hello Jasper did, but optimized for, like, effort.
So instead of watching one arm do nothing for thousands of cycles, we're watching 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 arms do nothing. Well, I'm just thinking of the ones that are moving around, but yeah. Gosh.
Alright. Next up, by Casimir.
Yeah, we're just sitting here in a drunken stupor, all of us.
Casimir.
Just like those arms.
Plain's algorithm. Sir Robert Plain is now mostly known for his work as a Bell founder, but during his lifetime, he occasionally dabbled in computational alchemy. Of particular note among his contributions is Plain's algorithm, a method for alcohol sorting which is highly reliant on output conditionals. The original schematics for the mechanical implementation, shown here, were found half crumpled, wedged between the pages of a book on treatment of alcoholism in the Great Library of the Imperial University. In the margin, in a different hand from the original author, someone had written, "Confound this devil's algorithm." I guess this is the same thing.
Yeah, basically.
Alright.
Yeah, essentially, the reference that is being made here is to the Steinhaus-Johnson-Trotter algorithm for generating the permutations on a certain number of objects, or as it was known by church bell ringers in England for hundreds of years before it was invented by before computer scientists rediscovered it. It was called the plane changes. Church bell ringing has a surprising overlap with some parts of computer science and combinatorics and group theory. And I happen to be a church bell ring, so I was really happy when this solve showed up because I was like, "Oh wow, somebody else at least knows about this."
Somebody else is a nerd. Okay, to be fair, we're all nerds here. We're playing this game called Opus Magnum.
Also the secondary reference that was also referenced, the devil's algorithm. Alright.
Yes, the BoozeSort version of cube solving.
I think there's a explicit devil's algorithm on the 2x2 cube, but I don't know if there's anything on the 3x3 cube. Alright. Next up, by 42 Genius 42. Lucky Stick. Demoted to showcase despite being aesthetically more pleasing and pure than the submitted scoring solve, which is a 2-stick version based on this. Mr. Puzzle said this is legit. Must be slower than the proper ways though. Thought of having 2 sticks on the go to reduce cycles, but then there's the issue of disposing 1 stick before the next guest stick is made. Turns out this is what I eventually did, and it was worth it for lower weighted sum. Still over 2000 though, so probably not great versus the competition. This is better than in every way than my proper attempt that detects what the atoms actually are, at least the fire and salt. That proper attempt is on unsubmitted embarrassment. Smiley face. Genius 42 says this was around 2400-ish. Wait some.
Nancy B. Drew is pointing out something very true in the chat, which is because we're dealing with a 4-atom stick, but there are only 3 different symbols, if you like, that can be in it. You don't actually have to check all 24 permutations of the input atoms. You can do it in at most 12, which is why there's a lot of redundant checking in Hella Jasper's solve, but also some of the brute force. Like the BoozeSort, if you like, or plane changes showcases, because they were developed. Plane changes, for example, is for when you have n symbols all unique and you want to generate the permutations of them. But this is obviously slightly different.
All right, and for the final showcase, NB Ventus. Near certainly midnight.
So you don't need the you don't need the computational input.
Yeah.
Mid-height is 2.
Process of elimination is a powerful tool, especially when you can't use the variable input due to an arbitrary restriction you are supposed to test to determine what the output is. Could this be done better? Yes. Will this be done better? Probably not. Over 1000 instructions and a repeat ain't one. Oh no. Oh no.
Good thing it only has like 15 cases to go through. That's not too much. Alright, elephant mode, go! This doesn't even need elephant mode.
Surely this one will be the right one. No. Surely this one will be the right one. No.
No.
That one was it!
And start back from the for fire case. NB Ventus made this without elephant mode, apparently.
Who needs those stinking elephants?
Waste chains will continue until morale improves. I think this solve not only has a drinking habit but a chain smoking habit.
With overlap, can this be done in one height? Yeah, I think so.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm not sure about that.
Oh no, it's probably kind of hard to do.
Yeah, I think you can do it. You got.
You only need fire on one side and water on the other.
Yeah, you use fire and fire as the 2 inputs on the output. You put the water on the side.
Yeah, and they piston back and forth to try the different permutations.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh no, that's right. Maybe not.
You can permutate by, moving the input. And just have different lengths of passing over.
That noise that you can hear on the stream, that is the sound of a brilliant mind working itself up into gear.
Imagine dial-up noises, that's what it sounds like.
Boop, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. Now, I don't know. Maybe if you had multiple inputs. The trick is that you have to try 15 different things.
Yeah.
But the glyph pattern will repeat every half step.
So, review.
We are going to. I'm waiting for you guys to finish to reveal the next week's puzzle.
All right, I'm a post it.
All
It's
right.
up. It's there.
Nylon by Zorflax.
Everybody, welcome back, Zorflax! Yippee! Yippee! Yippee!
So yeah, this is Nylon. A polymer puzzle with default glyphs. Just a simple two single atom reagents. The metrics are sum4, which is the sum of cost, cycles, area, and instructions. And the second metric is height, then rate, then cost.
Also, we have some great lore for this puzzle right now.
Oh no. Oh
no. That's what I was laughing at earlier.
Alright, so yeah, this is Nylon, the week 9 puzzle for this weeklies. And yeah.
Oh, looks pretty straightforward to me. Have fun.
Have fun, and also thanks for all the commentators.
No, thank you for having us. It was a great puzzle.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Puzzle, again for a really enjoyable puzzle. I'm sure. I think I speak for all us that it was really fun.
Yeah,
I mean, you
glad
thought
it
it was
turned
pretty
out.
fun too, just playtesting it.
Oh yeah, no, I had a blast. Yeah.
Same. Alright.
But yeah, next week it'll be the Zorflax stream.
The metrics are sum4 and HR.
There, the metrics sum for a human resource.
Alright. See you next week. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the commentators.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.